So before we jump into this video, I wanted to update you all on some things happening in my life. Now, a lot of you know that about a year and 3 months ago, my mom got diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer. Well, tomorrow we celebrate her 1 year anniversary of being cancer free. And I wanted to share that with you all because you guys played probably the biggest role in her recovery. From the GoFundMe, covering all of the bills, that was such a relief on her and me, the entire family basically. But it wasn't just that. It was the countless emails, the comments, the letters that were written to my PO box. I mean, that got me through the darkest time in my life. And I think it's safe to say that I was a complete wreck during that whole period when I found out, especially because I lost my aunt 2, 3 weeks after, and the uncle on my other side of the family, a month after that. So within 3 months, there was just so much going on, and I didn't know how to cope. So I went to you guys, right? I vented a lot. I was making a lot of videos because, this is kind of my escape. Making videos is my way to. This is what I love to do. I genuinely like making videos. This is my outlet. Sometimes it is not the best way to cope. You got to deal with things sometimes, but this definitely helped me through. And reading a lot of your comments, oh my gosh, I used to show my mom, I would screenshot uh, and send my mom some of these comments of, success stories, or how some of you guys have beat it for 20, 30 years, or you're currently going through the same exact situation with your parents, or you just found out. A lot of those really helped me feel like I wasn't alone. Watching my videos may not seem like you're doing much, but you're actually massively impacting my life for the better in ways I can't even try to explain. I'm a single father with a 2-year-old daughter, and I can be a stay-at-home dad now. I can actually be in her life way more than me working a 9 to 5, or probably having to work two different jobs. You know, um, it's just insane. It's just insane. And it all ties in because my mom tried to get a job about a month ago, her first job back from all these surgeries, and she couldn't handle it. She was working at a daycare center, a 9 to 5 job, 5 days a week with babies, holding babies all day. And she texted me and said, I can't do this, but she needed money. That's why she started working again. So I said, you know what? If you just watch my daughter for me, from time to time, I'll pay your bills. And now she gets to spend more time with her granddaughter, and that's all from you guys. I'm gonna post a picture of them right now that she sent me the other day, and then just jump into the video. I'm sorry about the long intro. I know you guys clicked on this video to hear what's happening with silver. So let's jump into it. So silver sinks below $21 as metals punished by growth concerns, prospect of rising rates. Now, I highly recommend that you subscribe since I post the newest, latest, freshest, most up to date recent information. When I say that, I'm not kidding. This article was written 43 minutes ago. I'm always going to cover the most important up to date news. So, Silver Slide looks set to continue this week with the metal now trading below $21 an ounce, having ended last week touching levels last seen in July of 2020. So, silver has found itself caught up in a broader sell off on equities and on gold, punished for being an industrial metal at a time where growth forecasts are being trimmed and hammered for its lack of yield at a time of rising interest rates. So, silver, it's definitely it's definitely a much different metal than gold. They're used for two completely different reasons. Silver's an industrial metal, gold strictly a monetary metal. Gold is used in some technology, but basically gold is used for jewelry. Coins, bars, necklaces, earrings, watches, stuff like that. It's a store of value. Silver, not so much. But I also think that can play in silver's favor coming, coming over the next decade as we advance technologically. But right now, when we're talking about the dollar being the main influence, it's definitely going to affect silver more, especially since it's so much more volatile than gold, since it's a much smaller market than gold, much smaller market than gold is. The turnaround in silver's fortune has been pretty dramatic, with the price falling from a close $26 an ounce in mid April to below $21 an ounce barely a month later. On each occasion, the price has fallen below a significant technical or psychological threshold. Bullish investors will have hoped that the metal would find support to avert the slide. Yet, for the short term, silver is seemingly powerless to stem the bleeding of its price. And this is a perfect time to enter the market. I mean, anyone who's even been considering silver right now would be the ideal time to jump in. We've seen silver as high as $30 for the last couple of years. I mean, it was $11 in March of 2020, but besides that, there really hasn't been a very strong entry point in terms of, silver's price is definitely undervalued right now. We could argue 26 is a little bit high, given the fact that the average price of silver has been $15 for the last decade. But I definitely could say that right now would be a perfect entry point for anyone who's been on the fence. So, yet, once markets finally pause for breath after some extremely volatile days that have seen huge losses across a number of different asset classes, silver will surely represent a strong buying opportunity, with fundamental case that was supportive in April still true today. Kind of like what I was just saying. Uh, Another thing you got to remember is silver is much riskier than gold since it's a much smaller market, and that's also why it's going to hit higher highs but also lower lows. But there's also opportunity in between those, since there's such big gaps, which some people take advantage of. I wouldn't recommend doing that with the physical metal, but regardless, silver has intrinsical value. You can't really call something risky that's a safe haven. It's called a safe haven for a reason. So, anyways, let's look at this chart for silver. So right now it's back up to $21.85. So it's looking like the 1 week, we got down below 21, and then it's up to $21.52 today. This article right here brings a little bit of a different perspective in that I want to cover, because it really is it explains things from a different angle. Both articles are going to talk about the main things affecting silver, which is, rate hikes, interest rates, all that. But this brings a really good point to the table too. So May 12th, gold and other precious metals dropped on Thursday, with palladium shedding more than 8% as investors flocked to the dollar, driven by the bets that the U.S. Federal Reserve will stick to aggressive rate hikes. Now, this article was written on May 12th, but it still does cover some really important news. So, May 12th, Reuters. Gold and other precious metals dropped on Thursday, with palladium shedding over 8% as investors flocked to the dollar, driven by bets the U.S. Federal Reserve will stick to aggressive rate hikes. The FOMC, when Federal Chairman Jerome Powell comes out, even before that meeting, people will speculate what they're going to say and go off of that as if it's true, which is such a dangerous thing, because that's investing purely off just speculation. And then usually once the numbers come out, or once they actually announce what's going to happen, then the market's correct, basically. It's almost like a false price for that week leading up. So spot gold fell 1.6% to $1,823.14, and gold futures settled down to 1.6% at $1,824. Now, this is the stuff I was talking about. I wanted to mention. So the dollar's rallying as things potentially look negative in the U.S., which is hurting gold. Also, the market is realizing the likelihood of seeing pretty aggressive interest rate increases. And then down here, we even have to say, rival safe haven dollar climbed to fresh 20-year highs, making gold less appealing for other currency holders, driven by concerns of tighter monetary policies to tame surging inflation, which will hurt the global economy. Although it is considered a hedge against inflation and a safe bet during economic and political turmoil, Gold is highly sensitive to rising US interest rates, which increases the opportunity cost of holding non-yielding bullion. So you can kind of see how there's so many different things pushing and pulling precious metals. Some are going to be, to a higher percentage than others, but even when things make sense or seems logical, there's other factors at play that can still push the price in other directions. And especially in the time that we live in, it's extremely hard to forecast the price or predictions. Anytime you hear a silver price forecast, take it with a grain of salt because the unknown variable, itself, but also just so much is happening and the price is influenced by so many different things. And it's also why you shouldn't pay attention to the daily price. That's why I tell you guys, just buy some silver on Amex or wherever, throw it in your safe or your safety deposit box or dig a hole 2 feet in your backyard and just hold it for a couple decades. It's the best way to go. Then the article goes on to even say, however, gold is holding relatively better when compared to the industrial precious metals, which would be silver and copper, so on and so forth. The demand for which could be hurt in a recession environment. Now, declines in gold, however, were capped by a slide in the benchmark 10-year Treasury yields, which hit the lowest levels in 2 weeks. Silver fell 4.3% to $20.63 per ounce, its lowest level since July of 2020, earlier in the session. And I wanted to bring this part up too, because like I was talking about, silver and gold are used for two completely different things, but the prices are pretty, um, they definitely mirror each other. But I do think someday that silver is going to take on a life of its own, regardless of what gold is doing, regardless of what stock markets are doing, regardless of what the dollar index is doing. I actually just made a video earlier today talking about how silver's price is nothing. The price of silver is nothing because silver is priceless. You can't compare fake money to real money. And I definitely think you should go check out that video too because it kind of does bring the timeless aspect. If you're a newer investor that doesn't understand why we invest into the metal, it's beyond just interest rates. It's beyond just because we're trying to, make a quick buck. It's so much deeper than that. And that video definitely captures that. If you're on the fence, maybe if you're a little worried, if you're thinking about selling, it's literally the worst time to sell, especially if you bought at $25, $30. Trust me, in a year from now, the prices could be so much different. In 5 years, can't even imagine. Think even what's happened just in a year ago. Think about how much can happen. And also, since we know where the economy is headed, where the dollar's headed, and how that affects the price of silver, it's a no-brainer. So yeah, I'm going to wrap this video up here. If you thought this video was 1, educational, 2, informational, 3, at least entertaining, make sure to hit the like button. I'm actually about to head to dinner with family to celebrate my mom's 1 year cancer-free anniversary. So I'm about to wrap this video up. Once again, I love all of you. I appreciate you all for supporting the channel. I'm going to keep making daily videos. I'll probably start doing 2 videos on weekdays and try to do 3 videos on weekends, maybe just 2 videos on weekends, but definitely a lot of content. I'm trying to switch, or I guess diversify, doing a lot more. I'm also doing an unboxing this week where I'll be giving away some of that silver in celebration of Go Buy Silver Day. I almost said National Go Buy Silver Day. It's not an actual holiday, but yeah. So anyways, thanks for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.